I didn't know how, and I was also afraid of men.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was afraid of men, yes.
It was an abortion, Michael. It was a son, and I had it killed because this.
The passing of Diane Keaton shook Hollywood to its core, leaving fans worldwide in disbelief. But before the sorrow could even settle, whispers started spreading, rumors that hinted at a shocking final move. Diane had quietly sold the Brentwood home she'd cherished for over 15 years. To those who truly knew her, that house wasn't just walls and a roof. It was her sanctuary, her personal masterpiece filled with memories, laughter, and love. Her decision to leave that peaceful refuge didn't sit right with everyone. People started asking, why now? Was it a simple choice, or was something deeper at play? Soon, talk spread that her two adopted sons, Duke and Dexter, might have had something to do with it. Some close to her said that during her final years, as she battled skin cancer and anorexia, she wasn't quite herself. That's when rumors began swirling about a possible quiet plan, an attempt to take control of her assets. The story took on a mysterious tone that no one could ignore. What made Diane suddenly part with her beloved home? What exactly was in her massive collection of prized possessions? As we uncover more, it becomes clear there's far more to this story than meets the eye. Before her passing on October 11th, 2025, at the age of 79, Diane Keaton had built an empire worth around $100 million. Her fortune was spread across California and other prime spots, but the heart of her wealth was always real estate. Diane wasn't just a homeowner, she was an artist who turned every property into a living, breathing piece of art. Her love for design ran deep, inspired by her father, who had worked in real estate. Each home she owned told a story, marking a different chapter in her extraordinary life. One of her most famous restorations was the historic Alfred Newman House, designed by Lloyd Wright, son of legendary architect Frank Lloyd Wright. Built in 1928, its Mayan revival style and intricate design made it a Hollywood treasure. Perched on a hillside with roughly 2,700 square feet spread over 4 levels, the house came alive with its terraces, pergola, private pool, and bold geometric details that beautifully merged architecture with nature. When Diane bought the property in the early 90s, it was falling apart, but she saw potential where others saw ruin. With architect Josh Schweitzer, she revived the masterpiece, preserving everything from oxidized copper and weathered wood to vintage concrete, while updating it with open spaces, modern flow, and touches of her own personality. Inside, she blended rustic charm with sophistication, antique pieces, industrial accents, and sunlight streaming through every corner. It wasn't just a home, it was her creative retreat, a space where she lived, dreamed, and designed. But in 2018, she made the surprising decision to put the house on the market, selling it 2 years later for an impressive $9.25 million, a massive profit that showed just how sharp her real estate instincts were. That home symbolized more than money. It captured her evolution from a passionate artist to a savvy property investor who understood beauty and value like few others could. Another one of her treasures was a Spanish colonial revival home in Beverly Hills, a stunning reflection of California's timeless charm. Diane personally oversaw every inch of it, from the warm paint tones to the curated furniture pieces. After buying it in the late 90s, she teamed up with designer Stephen Shaley to give it a modern twist while preserving its historic soul. She turned an unremarkable entryway into a breathtaking library with vaulted ceilings and a rich collection of art books. In the living room, she tore out an old, dull fireplace and replaced it with something spectacular, something that captured her essence. Every corner spoke of her taste, her vision, and her dedication to creating beauty that lasted. Diane Keaton's design sense was like poetry in motion, simple, elegant, and timeless. Her Brentwood home flowed with open space and sunlight, thanks to her love for large, steel-framed windows that let the light dance from one room to another. From the dining area to the family room, everything was connected in harmony, showing her eye for beauty and function all at once. Every detail carried her signature touch, soft paint tones, natural wood, and pieces that actually meant something to her. She had this incredible gift for blending rustic charm with high-end elegance, creating a space that felt warm, personal, and effortlessly sophisticated. It wasn't just a house, it was a living diary of her life, filled with memories, creativity, and her deep passion for art and architecture. Further west, Diane owned a breathtaking 20th century Adobe-style home in Tucson, Arizona. Like always, she poured herself into restoring it, turning the aging property into something truly special. When she sold it in 2020 for $2.6 million, after buying it for $1.5 million, it became clear that Diane wasn't just a Hollywood legend. She was a clever investor who knew how to turn forgotten homes into gold. But behind that success, her health was quietly slipping away. Those close to her said that in recent months, her strength had faded fast, but she never wanted pity. She kept her struggle private, protecting her loved ones from worry. Even her closest friends had no idea how serious it had become. In silence, Diane fought through the pain, showing the same quiet strength she'd carried her whole life. Then in March, she made one of the hardest choices of all, selling the Brentwood house she had once called her forever home. Purchased in 2011 for $4.7 million, the house stood as a reflection of her creative spirit and tireless dedication. Every wall, every piece of furniture was chosen with care. She even wrote about its renovation journey in her book, The House That Pinterest Built. But as her body weakened, the upkeep became too much to handle. Her lifelong battle with anorexia had taken its toll, leaving her frame fragile, her energy limited, and her movements slow. Simple things she used to enjoy, painting, rearranging furniture, decorating, became exhausting tasks. Years of delicate health had left her bones light, her shoulders narrow, and her strength fading away. Alongside that, skin cancer brought even more challenges. The surgeries made her skin sensitive, forcing her to avoid sunlight, the very light she loved so much. By March 2025, it became painfully clear that she couldn't keep up with the demands of her beloved home. The Brentwood property, 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, every inch infused with her signature taste, had become too much for her frail body to manage. Each chore, from tending the garden to sweeping the floor, turned into a mountain of effort. And so, with a heavy heart, she decided to let go of the place she had once called sacred. Just 2 weeks before her passing, Diane listed the home for sale. Though she knew it would find a new owner, she left behind more than furniture and walls. She left memories, laughter, and the love she had poured into every corner. A close friend later shared that her illness had progressed faster than anyone imagined. "Everything happened so fast," the friend said, their voice full of sorrow. "It's heartbreaking for everyone who loved her." In her final months, Diane was surrounded only by those who mattered most, her family. They kept everything private, just the way she would have wanted, allowing her to pass peacefully and gracefully. For years, she had lived a quiet, grounded life in Brentwood, walking her dog every morning, flashing her bright smile at neighbors, and chatting as if the world was one big conversation. One neighbor recalled, she had a magical energy, both humorous and profound. She talked to her dog like he was her oldest friend. Diane Keaton had that unmistakable Hollywood sparkle, the kind that could light up a room, but underneath all the fame and vintage glam, she was surprisingly down to earth, the kind of person neighbors could wave to on her daily walks. Yet, according to someone close to her, those peaceful morning strolls suddenly stopped just months before the heartbreaking news. One quiet Saturday morning, emergency crews arrived at her ivy-covered Brentwood home, a place drenched in memories, and confirmed what no one wanted to believe. Diane Keaton had passed away. The cause of death wasn't immediately revealed, adding to the wave of mystery surrounding her final days. The next day, her son Duke, 25, was seen outside wearing 2 silver crosses, an understated but touching tribute to his iconic mother, forever known for her hats, her wit, and her effortlessly cool style. Beyond her real estate empire, Diane had other passions that made her unique. She adored vintage cars. Her collection included a gleaming 1964 Ford Thunderbird and a 1970 Jeep Wagoneer. These weren't just vehicles, they were extensions of her personality, classic, bold, and completely one-of-a-kind. Each ride carried the same charisma she brought to her films. On top of that, she held smart investments in stocks, funds, and royalties from her movies and books, all of which added layers to her impressive $100 million fortune. But for Diane, money was never the goal. She once said, "I work to live, and I live to do what I love." That summed her up perfectly. Now, after her passing, everyone wanted to know, who would inherit it all? Diane never married, but devoted her life to her 2 adopted children, Dexter Keaton White and Duke Keaton. Dexter, born in 1995 and adopted in 1996, is now 29 and married. While Duke, born in 2000 and adopted in 2001, lives a quieter life at 25. They were her heart, her purpose, her world. In a 2005 Life magazine interview, Diane opened up, saying motherhood made her silently anxious to protect them. Those words hit different now. Even though no public will has surfaced, experts believe Diane had already set up a family trust, a smart Hollywood move to ensure everything stayed clean, private, and tax safe. Her estimated $100 million estate, including cash, royalties, and that beloved Brentwood home, will likely go to Dexter and Duke, split equally or however she planned it behind closed doors. But as the legal dust started to settle, something else began to stir. Rumors. Whispers crept through social media and gossip circles, hinting that her final sale of the Brentwood house wasn't just a personal decision, but the surface of something much deeper. Some alleged that Duke and Dexter had pushed her to sell the home she adored, a place overflowing with memories, laughter, and love. Online whispers painted a picture of a quiet power struggle, one that left people questioning whether Diane's final choices were truly her own. Posts and comments began popping up across forums and tabloid sites, suggesting the brothers may have been maneuvering to secure their inheritance. They waited for the right moment, one anonymous post claimed. They knew when to act. Whether true or not, these claims added a storm of controversy around a woman who had lived such a private life. Suddenly, Diane's legacy was being tugged between admiration and speculation. Friends who saw her near the end said she still smiled, that radiant, familiar smile, but her eyes sometimes seemed far away, as if lost in thought. Nobody could tell what she was really feeling. Did she truly want to sell her home? Or had the decision been influenced by subtle family pressures only insiders could understand? The more people talked, the murkier the story became. Online discussions spiraled out of control. Articles popped up dissecting her estate plans, her independence, and her family dynamics. Some accused her sons of plotting, others jumped to their defense. Many insisted that Diane Keaton was far too intelligent and strong-willed to ever be manipulated. She'd built her empire from scratch. Why would that change now? Despite the drama, her reputation as one of Hollywood's most authentic figures remained unshaken. Her home may have changed hands, but her legacy of motherhood, artistry, and fearless individuality will never fade. Diane Keaton's story will forever stand as a mix of brilliance and mystery, a tale of independence, quiet strength, and a touch of Hollywood intrigue. In the end, she lived by her own rules. A woman who never pretended to be anyone else. She laughed loudly, worked passionately, and loved deeply. Even as questions linger about her final decisions, one thing remains certain. Diane Keaton lived her truth until the very end. Diane Keaton left this world the same way she lived in it, with grace, mystery, and quiet strength. Her passing wasn't just the end of a cinematic era, it was a farewell from a woman who embodied freedom, authenticity, and the beauty of living life on her own terms. She once said in an interview, "Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to say. My life is interesting enough, and that's enough." That line wasn't just a quote, it was Diane's truth, bold and beautiful. Her goodbye was gentle and dignified, just like her, a woman who walked her own path and never let the world define her. Rest in peace, Diane Keaton. Your light still burns bright in every film frame, every laugh, and every heart that loved you. Diane's words always revealed who she truly was. She once said, "I don't want to sacrifice anything, and I don't need anyone to think I'm cool." That statement captured her perfectly, confident, real, and uninterested in fake admiration. For her, being cool wasn't about trends or charm. It was about freedom. Living freely, thinking freely, being free, that was her style. And that authenticity is exactly why she remained a Hollywood treasure for over 5 decades. Her final Instagram post from April said it all. It showed her beaming next to her golden-haired dog, Reggie, her loyal companion for years. That image, so simple and pure, was Diane in essence. Joyful, grateful, and surrounded by love. When news of her death broke, her friends and colleagues were stunned. Musician Carol Bayer Sager, who had collaborated with Diane just 10 months earlier on the song First Christmas, confessed she never knew Diane was sick. "I visited her about 2 weeks ago," Carol shared. "She was thinner, but her eyes were still full of light. I brought cookies, and she ate them like each bite was a gift." That image, warm, humble, human, was the goodbye Diane never spoke aloud. Life had thrown her some tough moments before the end. Not long ago, a fire had severely damaged her beloved Brentwood home, forcing her to stay with friends in Palm Springs for nearly 5 months. When she finally returned, she dedicated herself to family time, especially with her children, her greatest pride and joy. She adored acting, but her children were her world. She truly lived life to the fullest, Carol added with emotion. After the heartbreaking announcement of her passing, tributes began flooding in from every corner of Hollywood. Her father of the bride co-stars, Steve Martin and Martin Short, took a moment on stage to honor her, calling her the heart and soul of their iconic film. Fans wept as they remembered her grace and her humor, always effortlessly herself. Meanwhile, the legendary trio from the First Wives Club, Bette Midler, Goldie Hawn, and Diane Keaton, was now heartbreakingly down to 2. Goldie's tribute said it all. "Diane, we weren't ready to lose you. You were so humble you wouldn't take compliments. But this time you can't silence me, darling." Even Al Pacino, Diane's longtime partner and one of the loves of her life, was shaken. "Her passing completely surprised me," he admitted. They had dated during Hollywood's golden era, a partnership filled with passion, creativity, and mutual respect. Pacino once shared that it was Diane who pushed him to take his legendary Godfather role. Without her, the history of cinema itself might have changed. Their connection, though no longer romantic, never faded. It remained a deep bond of admiration and loyalty. Her former lover and collaborator Woody Allen also opened up about her influence. "I never cared about reviews of my work, only what Diane thought," he wrote, a rare glimpse of how deeply she impacted those around her. That was Diane's power, quiet but unforgettable. Her honesty could shake anyone to their core. Her book club co-stars, Jane Fonda, Candice Bergen, and Mary Steenburgen, expressed deep sorrow, remembering her warmth and wit on set. Sarah Jessica Parker, who worked with her on The Family Stone, shared, "I will forever cherish the memories on set with her because Diane made life more beautiful simply by being there." Diane once said she didn't think much about legacy because, in her words, it's already there, complete and full. And she was right. Her legacy isn't just in the films or the fame, it's in her courage to be authentic, her fearless individuality, and her ability to love deeply without pretending to be perfect. Her story reminds us that real strength isn't loud, it's honest. She showed the world that being unapologetically yourself is the greatest art form of all. Just hours after the news broke, actress Reese Witherspoon was overcome with emotion, saying through tears that Diane's passing left a silence too big to fill. Diane Keaton may be gone, but her spirit, the humor, the style, the honesty, will forever echo through Hollywood's halls. Her story isn't just one of fame, it's one of freedom. And that, more than anything, is what made her unforgettable. When Reese Witherspoon spoke about her mentor, her voice carried both admiration and nostalgia. She remembered meeting Diane Keaton at just 15 years old during one of her early auditions. Diane looked at her with that curious sparkle in her eye and asked, "Who are you?" Reese nervously answered, and Diane simply nodded, saying, "Okay, you're in." That brief moment changed everything. From then on, Diane became more than a mentor. She became a guiding light, teaching Reese the ropes of Hollywood with grace, humor, and that signature confidence that could fill any room. Reese shared that Diane wasn't just a brilliant actress, she was a fearless soul who taught everyone around her to stand tall no matter the storm. "She faced her fears head-on," Reese recalled, "and taught me how to fight feelings of doubt and being underestimated." That kind of wisdom, wrapped in kindness and honesty, defined who Diane truly was. Patricia Arquette, who worked with her in the 1991 TV movie Wildflower, echoed those same feelings. "I love Diane Keaton," she said. "She's one of a kind. There will never be anyone like her." Those words hit home for so many who had crossed paths with Diane. They perfectly captured the essence of a woman who lived boldly, authentically, and without apology. Diane's power went beyond her acting. Her fashion, her confidence, her attitude about life set her apart. She never followed trends, she made them. Whether it was her signature hats, tailored suits, or fearless approach to aging, Diane redefined what it meant to be timeless. She once said, "Life only ends when you die, not when you turn 50." And she meant every word. To her, age was never a limitation. It was just another adventure. Born on January 5, 1946 in Los Angeles, Diane had showbiz in her soul from day one. Her love for the stage started young. By age 5, she already knew she wanted to perform. "I still need it," she once said about acting, describing that inner spark that never faded. To Diane, acting wasn't just a career, it was a calling, an emotional playground where she could lose herself and find herself all at once. Her early years were filled with ambition and courage. In the 1960s, she lit up Broadway in plays like Hair and Woody Allen's Play It Again, Sam, where her unforgettable performance earned her a Tony nomination. That role opened doors to Hollywood, marking the start of an extraordinary film career that would shape cinema for decades. Her major breakthrough came in 1972 when she starred as Kay Adams in The Godfather, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. The film changed her life overnight. That role didn't just bring her close to Oscar territory, it made her a household name. And then, in 1977, she starred in Annie Hall, a performance so natural, witty, and raw that it earned her the Oscar for Best Actress. Diane Keaton had officially become a global icon. Through the 1980s, Diane continued to evolve, proving she wasn't afraid to take risks. Her role as Louise Bryant in Reds, 1981, won her a Golden Globe, while Shoot the Moon, 1982, showed off her emotional depth like never before. She wasn't just acting, she was living through her characters, always pushing boundaries and challenging herself to go deeper. In the 90s and early 2000s, Diane dominated again, giving unforgettable performances in Father of the Bride, 1991, The First Wives Club, 1996, and Something's Gotta Give, 2003. Her charm, wit, and elegance made every role memorable. That last one even won her another Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Comedy, proving that her magic only grew stronger with time. At just 32, she had already won an Oscar for Annie Hall, but she never stopped working, never stopped evolving. Even in 1997, when she was nominated again for Marvin's Room, Diane stayed true to herself. No designer labels or Hollywood pretension, just her quirky, honest self. Her signature style, black and white suits, vintage hats, and that confident grin became a symbol of individuality that inspired generations. And those hats? They weren't just a look, they were part of her story. Diane started wearing them after her early battles with skin cancer, both to protect her skin and because she genuinely loved the style. Over time, they became her armor, part fashion, part identity. She even brought her iconic look into pop culture moments, appearing in Justin Bieber's music videos with the same confidence that made her unforgettable on the big screen. But acting wasn't her only art form. Diane's creativity spilled into photography, directing, and preservation. She directed Hanging Up, 2000, showcasing her gift for exploring family dynamics with humor and heart. Starting in the 1970s, she also became a dedicated photographer and art preservationist. Her photo books, Reservations, Still Life, and Clown Paintings captured her unique eye for detail, beauty, and emotion. She even worked to preserve the historic architecture of Los Angeles, ensuring the city's beauty would endure just like her legacy. Diane Keaton wasn't just an actress, she was a force of nature. She lived with passion, spoke with honesty, and inspired countless people to embrace their individuality. From Broadway stages to Oscar nights, from behind the camera to quiet moments with her dog Reggie, every part of her life told the same story: freedom, authenticity, and love. Her name may forever belong to Hollywood's brightest stars, but her spirit belongs to something greater: the art of living fearlessly and truthfully. Diane Keaton didn't just leave behind films, she left behind a philosophy: be bold, be real, be free. Diane Keaton's brilliance went far beyond cinema. She wasn't just an actress. She was an artist, a visionary, and a cultural force whose influence reached deep into the worlds of photography, architecture, and art preservation. Her career, spanning more than 5 decades, was a testament to creativity, persistence, and an unbreakable spirit. Every chapter of her life reflected courage, curiosity, and a relentless passion for storytelling in all its forms. In her personal life, Diane never married, but she loved deeply, sincerely, and on her own terms. She had heartfelt connections with 3 remarkable men: Woody Allen, Warren Beatty, and Al Pacino, each relationship leaving behind a distinct mark, both romantic and profound. They weren't just love stories. They were reflections of her independence, her intelligence, and her refusal to be defined by convention. Her first great romance began in 1969 with Woody Allen during their Broadway days on Play It Again, Sam. Their connection was instant, a meeting of minds and humor that blossomed into both romance and creative partnership. Together, they made cinematic history with classics like Annie Hall and Manhattan. Though their love eventually faded, their friendship endured for a lifetime. Diane once joked, "We parted ways for reasons only God and Freud could understand," capturing her wit and self-awareness perfectly. But that friendship wasn't without controversy. Over the years, Woody Allen faced serious allegations that divided Hollywood. Yet Diane, always loyal to her convictions, publicly stood by her longtime friend, writing, "Woody Allen is my friend, and I continue to trust him." Her stance, while criticized by some, reflected her lifelong tendency to follow her heart rather than public opinion. She was never one to be swayed by the crowd. She lived by her own compass, always. In the late 1970s, another chapter unfolded when Diane fell in love with Warren Beatty during the filming of Reds, 1981. Their relationship was as passionate as it was artistic. Warren was mysterious, charming, and a creative equal, a man Diane described as brilliant and impossible to ignore. The two shared years of love and artistic collaboration before parting ways amicably, their friendship remaining strong long after the romance ended. And then there was Al Pacino, the magnetic force who shared her screen and her heart through the Godfather trilogy. Their love spanned years, with breakups and reunions that felt straight out of a Hollywood film. Diane once admitted that Pacino was the most fascinating man I've ever met. Handsome, brilliant, and endlessly complex. Though their relationship didn't lead to marriage, it left behind a deep emotional bond that neither ever forgot. Despite her famous romances, Diane never regretted her decision not to marry. To her, marriage felt restrictive, a kind of beautiful prison, as she once put it, something that simply didn't fit her free-spirited nature. She believed that love didn't need a contract to be meaningful, and that happiness came from freedom, not conformity. Instead of chasing tradition, she built a life rich with creativity, family, and purpose, and family became her greatest joy of all. In her 50s, Diane adopted 2 children, Dexter and Duke, embracing motherhood with the same wholehearted energy she brought to her art. "I will always be there for my children," she once said, calling it her proudest achievement. Her kids became her world, the center of her heart, and proof that love can take many beautiful forms. Even toward the end of her life, Diane remained grounded, thoughtful, and true to her values. Before passing, she made the deliberate decision to sell her beloved Brentwood home, a property she had lovingly restored and filled with memories. Those ivy-covered walls weren't just real estate, they were reflections of her artistry and taste. Yet in selling them, Diane once again demonstrated her practicality and grace, knowing when to let go, when to simplify, and how to live with intention. Her life was a balance of elegance and authenticity, a perfect blend of Hollywood glamour and down-to-earth wisdom. Every choice she made reflected her belief that true beauty lies in simplicity, sincerity, and freedom. Diane Keaton's story isn't just the story of an actress, it's the story of a woman who defied expectations, broke boundaries, and redefined what it means to live artfully. From Broadway to the big screen, from directing to design, from photography to motherhood, she embraced every role life offered with courage and curiosity. And though she's no longer with us, her influence continues to inspire through her films, her books, her architecture, and the countless lives she touched with her warmth and honesty. If you love Diane Keaton and appreciate her extraordinary contributions to cinema, architecture, and the art of living, take a moment to celebrate her legacy. Like, subscribe, and join us as we honor more Hollywood legends who, like Diane, remind us to live authentically, love deeply, and never stop creating.